The Slate is reborn. Well, sort of, not quite, but in a manner of speaking. This is a brand new Cannondale Topstone Carbon Lefty, an all new adventure gravel bike for 2021, and which looks like being the ultimate off-road, highly capable bike if you're in the market for a new one this year. So what it does, it takes the Topstone Carbon, launched about a year ago, full carbon frame, kingpin rear suspension with 30mm of rear wheel travel, and combines it with a brand new single crown lefty fork on the front, matching 30mm of front wheel travel. So a full suspension gravel bike, basically. To cast our mind back to that Slate from 4 or 5 years ago, it was a radical bike full of time. An alloy frame with a lefty suspension fork with 30mm of suspension travel taken from their mountain bikes, and used the now popular small 650B wheel size with big fat tyres, and was pitched as an all-road bike. They're not really gravel, but a road bike that can go where road bikes can't go. And it was a bit of a flop, to be honest. It wasn't the commercial success that the company hoped, and really it was ahead of its time. The market wasn't quite ready for it. The gravel scene isn't in the place where it is now, where it's thriving and everybody's getting into gravel and adventure riding with long distance rides and bike packing and all other aspects of this scene, which are making it really popular. But that bike, the DNA of that bike, the essence of that bike lives on in this brand new Topstone Carbon Lefty. So let's dive into the details of this new bike. The new Topstone Carbon Lefty takes the frame they launched last year, an all-new carbon Topstone which joined the existing Topstone alloy frame launched a year before that. So we've got a lightweight 1100 gram claimed frame, ballistic carbon fibre, oversized tube profiles, but most interestingly of all is the kingpin rear suspension. By putting a pair of bearings, basically a pivot on the seat tube where the seat stays connect to that part of the frame, they increase the amount of rear wheel travel. A claimed 30mm of rear wheel travel was possible. So not really suspension, but just trying to enhance the amount of deflection you get in the seat tube and the seat post by using these bearings to increase the amount of bending force available at the back end. I went to Vermont in the US last year for the launch of this bike. There's my story on the web somewhere if you want to search for it. Got to ride some very fine dirt with the company of Ted King, who ex-pro, now a gravel supremo. And it's an awesome bike, fantastic handling, great off-road as well. But the question we all had was, what happens if you put a lefty on it? Well, we didn't have to wait too long. Not the biggest surprise in the world. They have put a lefty on the front of the Topstone Carbon, and what a bike it looks. So Cannondale, as you know, a very innovative, left field thinking company with some quite interesting design solutions. And the lefty is probably the most high profile product that really stands out throughout their history. Been around for well over a decade now, so it's proven technology, even though it's not been the worldwide success they might have hoped. So we have a brand new lefty Oliver fork, which is the same name as the previous Slate lefty Oliver fork, but they based it on the Occo mountain bike single-sided, single crown fork, which launched about a year and a half ago. And they've done more than just repurpose it and put a new sticker on that mountain bike fork. They've actually redesigned it from the ground up to lower the weight and also decrease the travel, which is 30mm, matching the kingpin rear suspension on the bike. So it's a super stiff fork, super lightweight. There's needle bearings in there, so it's very smooth, very little stitching, and it still works under extreme load. So when you're braking, you still get the full range of suspension travel. The weight is much lower, a claimed 1,340 grams, down from 1,446 grams for the Occo. That's for the top end carbon model. There's also an alloy version of this Oliver Lefty with a claim weight of 1,610 grams. So a few hundred grams weight saving for that carbon model, but the important thing is that Lefty in an alloy build will bring the price of a complete bike down a lot more and make this bike more accessible, more affordable for more people. We'll get into prices in a bit, so stay around for the rest of the video. There's an air spring inside for adjusting it for your rider weight. There's a rebound adjustment, and there's a lockout lever as well. So if you're on the road, you don't want the suspension to work, you can just turn that dial and lock it out until you get to the next gravel, gnarly off-road section. And just like that original Slate, that new Lefty Oliver delivers 30mm of suspension travel, matching the kingpin, which is also 30mm at the back, to create what should be a nicely balanced all-round bike with that front and rear suspension, providing a good range of traction and comfort on off-road tracks and trails and other gravel places where you might take this new bike. When it comes to talking about suspension, there aren't really many rivals for this new Topstone Carbon Lefty. Of course, there's a Specialized Diverge which has the Future Shock, delivering 20mm of suspension travel from the front, but no rear suspension. There's the Lauf or Loof fork with the crazy fork delivering a claimed 30mm of suspension. It's not really suspension, it's just carbon fibre, fiberglass leaf springs flexing away with no damping, and there's nothing on the back of the frame. And the other alternative could be the Redshift suspension stem and new suspension seat post, which is a retrofittable system. So there aren't many comparisons. There is that Niner full suspension gravel bike, which is a different kettle of fish, I feel. This Topstone Carbon feels more like a road bike, a gravel bike with a suspension rather than that quite ugly, let's be honest, Niner gravel suspension bike. Visually, it retains that road bike look. The profile is very much a road bike, and that new Lefty doesn't disrupt the aesthetics of the bike too much, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. Excitingly, perhaps you can buy the Lefty on its own. So if you have the previous Topstone Carbon and you're thinking, oh, I wish I'd waited a year, well, now you can just buy that Lefty, put it onto your old bike, and hey presto. Don't forget to add a price of a new wheel though, because your front wheel won't be compatible with a new wheel. And it should also mean, hopefully, we can buy this fork to fit to other gravel bikes as well. So if you've got another gravel bike that isn't a Cannondale and you want a suspension fork and you like the look of this new Lefty Oliver, then you go out and buy it. So that could be an exciting thing. And just like a few years ago, when we saw many people buying the Lauf Loof suspension fork for their gravel bikes, myself included, this could be the next big trend in the gravel bike sector when you see loads of gravel bikes from different brands equipped with a Lefty fork. Okay, I've talked loads about this new Lefty Oliver fork. Let's move on to the rest of the frame. Just go over a few details that are worth pointing out. As I already mentioned, it's based on the Topstone Carbon launched last year, so a lightweight, claimed 1100 gram ballistic carbon fibre frame. Lots of nice details. Oversized down tube, tapered head tube, full internal cable routing, and there are eyelets and mounts for everything from extra bottles and racks and even mud guards as well. So a good all-round, very versatile bike for everything from winter riding to bike packing, touring, audax and everything in between. You can also fit a dropper post if you're going into some quite gnarly off-road terrain and you want that dropper post to give you a bit more capability on the steep downs as well. So that's a nice detail to see on this bike. And like the latest Evo and CAD 13, we've got Mavic speed release through axles, which is a really clever system. It basically means you don't have to totally remove the through axle when you take a wheel out. So that's a nice detail on the bike. It does take a little while to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's much easier, much quicker to remove a front or rear wheel. And that front wheel can be easily removed as well, but if you get a puncture, you don't need to take the wheel out. You just take the tyre off and hey presto, off you go. So quite an easy front wheel puncture change, probably the fastest way to change an inner tube or repair a puncture on a front wheel or any gravel bike. So it could be a bonus if you're in a race and you need to sort your front wheel tyre problems out. So yeah, interesting side effect of that Lefty fork. Although downside to that Lefty fork is how the hell do you fit a mudguard to it? Answers in the comment section below, let me know. I can't see any detail in the Cannondale press kit about fitting a mudguard to that Lefty fork, so maybe you need some clever aftermarket solution or you just put up with a muddy face, I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. So let's talk prices and specs, and I'm going to focus on UK prices because, well, I'm based in the UK, but I'll put a link to the Cannondale website down below. So if you're watching from the US, hello, or Australia, hello, or wherever you're watching, you can get prices in your region. But here in the UK, we're getting two models, a top of the range model and a reasonably attainable entry-level mid-range bike. So don't go mad in the comments with my description of that bike. But at the top, it's a Lefty 1, costing £6,500 with an amazing paint job. And this model is equipped with a SRAM mullet drivetrain, so a Force E-tap axis shifters, chain set, and then an Eagle rear mech and a massive 1050 cassette on the back to give a wide range. And I've used this setup on a previous bike, an open wide, which you might see my review elsewhere on the internet, and it works really well. Got big range, the gaps aren't too bad for most situations, so really good, highly capable off-road group set. You also get Cannondale's own hologram handlebar and stem and WTB Byway 47mm wide tyres. And if that model is a bit too rich for your taste, then there is the Lefty 3, which costs £3,200 and get a Shimano GRX base group set with 800 and 600 components, mechanical shifting, hydraulic disc brakes, and Cannondale's own really neat crankset. That Lefty 3 also gets the alloy version of the Lefty Oliver fork as well, which helps to bring the price down. So a bit more weight, but a big saving. So two models, 6.5, 3.2. Which would you pick? Well, I like the paint job on the top of range model, but I think the 3.2 model is the choice bike in this range. Be nice to see more options, but that's what we're getting. So maybe US, Australia, you get more bikes. Let me know in the comment section down below. So there we go. That is a Cannondale Topstone Carbon Lefty. Not the biggest secret in the world. We probably knew it's coming, to be honest. If you looked at the Topstone Carbon launch last year, there's a big space for a lefty fork. And here it is. And it looks a really good bike. As you can tell, I haven't ridden it because I'm in my garage. I've got a press kit. I'm just sharing the details and my opinions with you on this bike. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get my leg over this bike sooner rather than later while the trails are running really nice at the moment and tell you what the bike is like to ride based on my impressions of the Topstone Carbon last year and all the other gravel bikes I'm riding at the moment, like my own Fairlight here. But you got any questions? What do you think of this bike? Let me know down in the comment section below. Are you loving it? Hating it? What do you feel about the Lefty on a gravel bike? Do you think it's a hit or a miss? Oh, I'd love to know your thoughts. I think there's potential. I think it's what a gravel bike needs, a short travel suspension fork for some riding where you are doing more mountain bike terrain, but you don't want to be held back on the road. The proof is in the riding, of course, so hopefully I'll find out soon. That is all for now, though. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already, and maybe subscribe to my channel by hitting that red button down below. It's great seeing so many new names engaging with my content in the comment section after these new videos. So make sure you get subscribed, get commenting on this video down below. It really means a lot, and it helps me to grow your channel and to do more tech content. Talking of which, I've got some really exciting stuff coming up soon, next few days, so make sure you stick around. You don't want to miss it. With all that said, I'll see you next time. Stay safe, keep pedaling. I'll see you soon.